Hello and welcome to the Profitable Baker podcast, the show for bakers who mean business. I'm Annie Bennett, founder of the Home Baking Business Academy, and every week I'll be sharing practical lessons, mindset shifts, and inspiring stories from bakers who are building businesses they love. Because success in this industry isn't about who bakes the fanciest cakes, it's about who builds the strongest business foundations. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Profitable Baker podcast with me, Annie Bennett. Now today I want to talk about something that quietly transforms baking businesses but doesn't get anywhere near the attention it deserves. This is episode 11, Creating Repeat Customers and Why They Matter More Than You Think. Because if your business relies entirely on finding new customers every single week, that can be exhausting and it can also be expensive. So, why do repeat customers matter so much? Let's start with a simple fact, and a lot of established successful businesses will agree with this, that it costs far more time and energy and money to get a new customer than it does to sell to someone who already knows you. Because a new customer, think about getting a new customer. First of all, they need to find you, and that takes a lot of effort on your part. All the visibility work that you have to do. Making sure that people know that you exist. That is hard work. A new customer then needs to trust you. Again, you need to put in a lot of work to make that happen. A new customer needs to like your work. And remember, not everybody will. We are not there to please everybody. We are there to please our ideal client. And I'm going to do an episode on ideal client very soon. A new customer needs to believe that you'll deliver. It's all part of the trust thing. They're quite tentative. They might be wary of giving deposits and things like that. And a new customer needs to decide that you're worth the money. All of that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. But a repeat customer, they've already done all of that. They've gone through the whole process. They know how you work. They know your quality, your process, and your pricing, which means that repeat customers, they book faster. They tend to ask fewer questions. They're more likely to say yes, and they often spend more over time. So from a business point of view, they are gold. Now, one-off orders, of course, are your starting point. You can't get repeat customers without having them as a starting up customer. But a lot of bakers assume that if someone orders only once, that's just how it is. But very often a one-off is only a one-off because nothing comes next. You, as the business owner, make no steps or no attempts to contact them and get repeat custom. So think about how many natural repeat opportunities already exist. If someone's bought a birthday cake, well, that's gold. Whoever they're buying that birthday cake for is going to have a birthday the following year. If you've made cupcakes for a baby shower, for example, what about the first birthday of the baby? A wedding order. I used to make a lot of wedding cakes, but I must admit I didn't do a lot of following up about anniversaries, but that's gold as well. Contact your wedding couples 11 months after their wedding and say, are you looking for an anniversary cake? And if you do corporate, if you get a corporate order, investigate and see whether they have regular staff events that you can also provide for. The mistake that we often make isn't that customers don't want to come back, is that we don't invite them to. If you don't ask, you don't get. And that is so true in business. You've really got to remember that. And you've also got to remember what's the worst that can happen is say no. That really is. So how do you turn a one-off into a repeat without being pushy? I talk to a lot of bakers who say, oh, I don't want to do that. It seems pushy. But you're a business, okay? But it doesn't have to be awkward. It can be as simple as, a few examples here for you. including a thank you card with the initial order saying, I'd love to bake for you again. Feel free to get in touch when the next occasion comes round. Mentioning at collection or delivery. I usually book up for birthdays, so if you ever want the same again, just let me know. Or following up after the event with, I hope everything went well. Thank you again for your order, so that you are there in their mind. You are constantly on their radar. And this one is the golden one, sending an email reminder 11 months after your initial booking. If it is something like a birthday, an anniversary, something like that, get in there a month before the next birthday or the next anniversary and say, hi, how are you? I've noticed that you've got a celebration coming up. Can I help you again this year? None of that can be seen as salesman pushy. It's all good service. So let's think about customer tracking. I teach in the academy, and I've got a template in there for customer tracking, where you can note down the name of your customer and what the booking was, and you can go back to that every so often and have a look and see what celebrations they have coming up. So let's say that someone buys a birthday cake now for the beginning of March. You put them on your customer tracker so that this time next year, you're looking at your customer tracker and thinking, oh, yes, so and so, they bought a birthday cake last February. Let's contact them and see if I can help them again this year. So it can be a digital one, a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets, can't get enough of them. But it might be just something simple as a notebook. Just the way that you work, do it in the best way, that the way that you work. Don't make more work for yourself, but have it there and track their name, what they ordered, what the occasion was, and anything about them that might be useful for your next contact email. And that is all to do with being organized, being professional, being businesslike. And email reminders, they're helpful. You've really got to get out of the mindset. I know some people are really in the mindset of, oh, I don't want to, it seems pushy. But here's the reframe. What you're doing is you're not interrupting someone, you're reminding. A short, gentle email. For example, you might say, hi, Sarah, you ordered a birthday cake with me last June for Emily. I'm opening my diary for the summer now, so I wanted to let you know in case you want to book again. There we go. Non-pushy, non-salesy. I'm here if you need me. I'm just reminding you. Because it's easy to forget when you're running a business from this side, how easy it is to forget to do things. Sometimes I get email reminders about things and I think, oh, thank goodness they've reminded me because I'd completely forgotten. And this is where we're coming from. We're coming to the helpful service level. I used to be very wary of contacting customers. I used to be, oh, I don't want to be pushy. But once I got into the flow, it became a lot easier. And actually, customers actually thanked me for contacting them, as it saved them having to find my details. And as my business grew into exclusively wedding cakes, I did have a few repeat birthday cake customers who I would regularly contact, and they'd always thank me. They'd always say, oh, yeah, great. Yes, well, we'd love to book that with you. And it saved them having to look you up, find your old email from a year ago buried in their inbox somewhere. If you pop up to the top of their inbox, there it is, easy as pie. And they can either say, yes, we'd love to book, or no, thank you, not this time. And that's the worst that can happen, really. And don't be afraid to contact them. If someone has chosen you and paid you and had a good experience, you've earned the right to stay in touch. Silence doesn't make you professional. Clear communication does. And it's the same with following up after an initial inquiry. Do you know, I had once had a baker say to me, oh, I don't follow up. If they want me, they know where I am. And to be honest, I wasn't quite sure where to start with that. But suffice it to say that if you don't follow up or contact previous customers, you are probably actively handing a booking to your competition. Another baking business will get that order and you've handed it to them by not following up or by not communicating with that customer. Because it may be that the chances are that the person that bought that cake a year ago has forgotten your business name, has forgotten who you are. Let's face it, we're all human. If I buy something a year ago, it's going to take me a while to remember the name of the business I bought from, unless they've been contacting me regularly ever since with little bits and pieces and hello, how are yous and things. So you make it obvious that you are still there and you are waiting for their custom. So most repeat bookings don't happen by accident. They happen because the business owner has made it easy for the customer to come back. And just a quick word about GDPR here. The rules are that if you are contacting an individual customer regarding a booking, whether it be a past booking or a future booking, you don't need to be registered with the ICO. However, if you are sending out newsletters or group emails to lots of your customers at once, then you do. I will put information about that in the show notes. But whichever of those it is, you should have a privacy notice somewhere notifying all customers about how you store their information and what you do with it. That can go on your website, and there are templates for that inside the Academy membership. So if you want a calmer, more predictable baking business, focus less on chasing new customers, although of course you still have to do that, but focus more on serving the ones you already have. Repeat customers are far less draining, and building them doesn't require, as I've said in this episode, it doesn't require sleazy, pushy tactics. It just involves having an organized system, good, friendly, cheerful communication, and a bit of confidence from your part. And as I've said on previous episodes, confidence will grow the more you do something. You don't need the confidence before you do something. It comes with doing it. So send those emails, follow up, and the confidence of doing that will come. So if this episode has made you realize you're leaving repeat bookings to chance, then this is your signal to start making changes. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you next time.